Hey YouTube, it's the morning brew. Happy Monday, if it is a happy Monday for you. A lot happened over the weekend, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I just want to tell you, if this video seems a little crooked on the top or the sides or whatever, I had the unfortunate luck of technology again. My tripod cracked and broke at the neck, so I had to duct tape repair it until I can buy a new one, which will be probably later this week. Which will be an improvement because I've never had a carrying case for it. So it'll be nice when I hit the Comic-Con this year for the 19th time to actually have a tripod with a carrying case versus strapping it into my backpack with bungee cords. Not fun. Anyways, other than that, got the bed head going pretty thick today, as per usual. What else do I want to tell you about? I thought I had my thoughts in check, and I thought I had everything I was going to talk about in mind. Apparently not. Oh, man, I am having a brain fart like nobody's business right now. Yeah, let's just get to the damn news. Wow, I can't believe that happened. Anyways, and a myth legend becomes fact and reality. Atari's infamous E.T. Landfill has finally been dug up. Unlike Capone's safe, this one turned out to be true. If you're not familiar with the myth, it was a legend that during the 1980s video game collapse, video game industry did actually come to a full end at one point during the 80s. Thanks to companies like Atari for building and making craptacular games like E.T., the most infamous, terrible game of all time. And trust me, there have been many contenders over the years that have tried to achieve that goal of be the worst game ever. But E.T. still holds true as one of the worst games ever made. So with that, the $20 million license fee that they paid turned into, apparently, now this is not known how many at the time, but now Atari has owned up to saying that they buried 70,000 copies of E.T. The legend went that basically they went to New Mexico landfill overnight, dug up, and then buried multiple systems, thousands of cartridges of E.T. and then some of other games, never to be seen again by the public because they could not sell them, and then the company went bankrupt for a short period of time. Of course, now film company actually dug it up by accident or on purpose, we don't know. Now, the interesting part is that the CEO at the time fully admitted that on September 26, 1983, they buried 70,000 copies of E.T. Fortunately, they also found copies of Centipede, Phoenix, and an unlicensed copies of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's interesting to see that some video game legends has come true. Let's just hope Ben Drowned isn't one of them. Ben Drowned, the urban legend, is terrifying to me, and I would not like to be a part of that reality. Anyways, of course, in order to cash in on this momentum, Microsoft, or Xbox Entertainment, not to be left behind, will be airing a documentary based on these events called Atari Game Over. Basically what led to the 1970s/80s video game industry collapse, and what basically led to this landfill being filled with crap. Speaking of Xbox and crap, Xbox One and 360 owners will be getting their first taste of original programming on Xbox Live. With names like Steven Spielberg and Ridley Scott working on, hold for it, Halo things. When I mean Halo things, I mean they're both working on two different Halo projects. I get it. Halo is Microsoft's flagship. That's their bread and butter. But goddamn, does everything they do have to have anything to do with it? I know Nintendo does the same thing with Mario. Sega did the same thing with Sonic for the longest time. But please, do we need multiple Halo projects going on at the same time that aren't even related to the actual game. These are like stories and miniseries and cartoons and all that crap, but it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just Halo. It's not that great. Halo is overrated as all hell. I played the second and third, and I was not impressed. Anyways, so yeah, Microsoft will be airing their original content starting in June, and that will include the Atari Game Over documentary. And of course, for some reason, the first original content they're bringing out is the search for the world's best soccer player, which will the series will come to an end in a street match during the World Cup. What I wonder is, and I've seen the commercials. I've noticed that Microsoft has been doing a lot of the Kinect stuff. Always involves soccer players or people playing soccer. If you haven't seen it, there's the ones where the guy gets scanned in the first Xbox One commercials, and he turns into a famous soccer player because it's a Kinect game or it's an Xbox One game. I don't know why Microsoft has suddenly taken on to doing these soccer enthusiastic things. It's not a beloved sport here in the States. It is everywhere else in the world, obviously. And being from Mexico, I played soccer, but I've never liked watching it. I can't get into it. My dad used to go nuts over it. Anyways, so yeah, look forward to soccer themed stuff from Xbox Entertainment and documentaries about the companies that have fallen before them. In other entertaining news, and probably more interesting news, Zack Snyder has basically grounded himself as the director for the Justice League movie. Yet to be announced, yet to be set in stone of when it will come out. It is rumored the movie should be out sometime in 2018, which, if you think about it, sounds like a long time from now. But when you think about how far ahead Marvel has set out their goal to 2028, and on top of that, we've got at least 6 films before 2018 from Marvel, 4 of them from at least DC, because that's supposedly the Batman vs. Superman or World's Finest. They don't know title yet. Should be out by then. Of course, if you've been paying attention to World's Finest or Batman vs. Superman, Cyborg has been slated as a character that will be showing up in the movie. And on top of that, Wonder Woman, of course, who has a bigger role in the movie than anybody else, aside from Superman. What I don't understand is, apparently, her name is... I hate pronouncing these freaking names. Gadot, I don't know, whatever. She's been signed for 3 films within the DC universe, including Princess Diana of Themyscira. It's interesting that Wonder Woman has never had a movie. Period. Had the TV show, had animated features left and right, or at least has been involved in quite a few. And all of a sudden, they realized, oh crap, Marvel's making a killing in these movie things. Let's put the same actors on 3 of them. Good. It's Wonder Woman, though. I'm not a Wonder Woman fan. I've never been. Can never get into the character. The outfit really bugs me. Her outfit just has always been an issue for me. It's silly and it's stupid. I'm sure somebody will agree with me. How seriously can you take a superhero that dresses like Wonder Woman? On top of the red, white, and blue, Star Spangled, whatever. I know they made some connections to it, like, oh, that all, has different things to do with the mythology, and not necessarily, it just happens to coincidentally fall within the flag of the United States, and blah, blah, blah. But it still bugs me. It's the bikini, one-piece crotch thing. I know they changed her costume in recent years multiple times, but it's still... When I think Wonder Woman, I still think the original costume. It's kind of like Batman and Superman. You always think back to the ones you first became familiar with, regardless of what anybody does to the costumes now. You don't... personally, I never think of Christian Bale in the Batman costume. I just think back to animated series or... what do you call it? Silver Age Batman and stuff like that. Because that was like the first stuff I became familiar with. So Wonder Woman, I'm glad to see that they're finally taking the character seriously enough to do something with her. I just don't foresee... I can't really judge it until I see it, but unless they do something right with the costume and make it maybe not so much the new one, because I've seen the new one, it's not that great, but it's better. Although a little bit of it looks a lot like Rogue from the X-Men from the 1990s cartoon. So I don't know how far that'll go. Other than that, we'll see. I mean, honestly, Zack Snyder, Man of Steel to me was very overrated. Everybody fell in love with that thing and had a wet dream about it. I watched it and I was bored. I was incredibly bored. My wife was too. Which is sad. We're both Superman fans, but we couldn't get through that. It was just such a slow drag. So I suspect and I hope that the next one won't be so much of a drag. But introducing 3 whole new characters to this franchise without origin stories, basically, or if they do have an origin story, they better make a quick one out of Cyborg and a quick one out of Wonder Woman, because otherwise, crap. And it's 2.5 hours is already a long period of time for a movie. I really don't like sitting through guys in spandex for that long. Anyways, speaking of guys in spandex, or in my opinion, humongous jackasses. So it turns out that this company called Foscam, Foscam, makes baby monitors. Baby monitors with cameras, with remote controls, that are controlled via IP addresses and wireless networking and your mobile devices and so on. Well, the fact that that has all that access, it means that people can actually access them at any time. Well, apparently some jerk thought it'd be hilarious to access one and start screaming at a 10-month-old, "Wake up, baby! Wake up! Wake up, you little bleep!" Of course, parents heard the strange voice coming from her room, and the camera turned to look at the parents, and it was this random jackass who hacked their camera. Now, the sad part is this is not the first time this has happened. Apparently, Foscam has had this happen multiple times, and even after they patched the cameras and the hardware, it still keeps happening. I'm kind of glad we don't use these cameras. I was actually looking into purchasing these iPad and iPhone controlled cameras for my kid, especially if if you're leaving them overnight with somebody or something, it come in handy. But now that I've heard these horror stories of these guys, like apparently another guy was torturing a 2-year-old and calling him a little, saw the kid's name on the wall and started taunting him by name and stuff. And it's like, what's wrong with you? I want to know what's wrong with these guys who think it's hilarious to torture little kids. I hope that if we are finding these guys, I hope that we're able to capture them and sentence them for torturing a child. Because, I'm sorry, you can go ahead and fuck with adults, but it's pretty fucked up when you're messing with a kid. There's really no nice thing to say about that. Like, you're fucking with babies, man. Like, what the hell could that baby have done to you? Nothing. For you to go and torture them in the middle of the night, yelling at them, trying to wake them up, and for what? That's what bothers me the most. What do you have to gain from that? Pieces of crap, man. Here, I'll say it clearly. Fuck them. Fucking assholes. Anyways, to finish off this morning's show, I'm bringing up an oldie but a goodie. The Simpsons, which is currently on its 25th season, has reported their 26th season has been signed. Unfortunately, as of last night, they hit an all-time low in their ratings, only reaching 3.4 million viewers. Do you understand what that means? Their all-time low is 3.4 million viewers. They're still the highest rated show on that time slot on a Sunday, and yet they've hit an all-time low. Now, next week is the premiere of the Lego-themed episode, and I wrote an article about that on Castillo.com. The funny thing is that you have all these years of the Simpsons. I mean, 26 seasons is nothing to sneeze at. And granted, the 26th season hasn't aired yet, but I mean, it's pretty much going to. 26 seasons of the show. And they're celebrating their 550th episode next week. And for it to finally, after so many decades, to finally hit an all-time low is an interesting point to say. They only reached 3.4 million people. Ironically, I was one of them last night. Out of pure coincidence. I honestly do not watch The Simpsons anymore unless the episode preview entices me enough. Like the Lego one, obviously. But last night's episode wasn't even... It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was one of those like, okay. Now, if you haven't seen it, and you probably won't if you haven't by now, essentially it starts off with Bart getting in trouble after art class. Okay, rephrase that. They have to go to art class, and Bart hates art class, wants to get rid of his teacher. Teacher tries to encourage Bart. Bart gets encouraged to do voodoo. Finds a voodoo priestess. She tells him how to do everything, and basically Bart wanted to make the teacher sick. Not die, but have a stomach ache. Well, the teacher comes in and tells everybody she's got a tummy problem. A special kind of tummy problem. AKA, she turned out to be pregnant. Rumors got around that Bart got a teacher pregnant. Of course, things got clarified when Skinner talked to him moments later, saying, well, that's not how it happens, Bart, so don't worry about it. You didn't get anybody actually pregnant. Well, when rumors got around that a little 10-year-old managed to get someone pregnant with voodoo, people started coming from, out of nowhere, asking Bart to help them with his voodoo to get them pregnant. Started making a couple bucks on the side. $5 and $1 for ha-ha insurance. You heard that right. He had ha-ha insurance. And as Nelson put it, trust me, it comes very much in handy. Now, after all that happens, Fat Tony comes out of nowhere, kidnaps Bart and Homer, because he needs them to get his racehorse pregnant by a champion racehorse who turns out to be gay. So instead, the racehorse gets pregnant by a Clydesdale, which is the Duff Clydesdales, not the Budweiser ones. And it happens after a little musical number, because I don't know why the Simpsons are doing musical numbers right now. I mean, I guess they're trying to keep up with Family Guy, which they should be really more worried about Bob's Burgers, which I think is a much more superior show now. And sure, the episode had its laughs and had its moments. The only thing I will say, I will give this episode a top-notch, good job, I love it, was the intro was basically all the bartenders in Springfield getting together and trying to figure out how to get business going again. Mo came up with the superhero pub crawl. If you've never done a pub crawl, essentially there's a theme to them. There's the Fox Hunt pub crawl, in which people dress as foxes and other people dress as huntsmen. And they give chase. And a lot of times the chase takes place on segways. Essentially, they'll go to a bar, drink up, and then a drink or two later, they'll move on to the next bar down the street or down the way. And so on and so forth. Same thing with the zombie pub crawls. A large group of people will hit the bar, hit a couple of drinks, hit the next bar, hit a drink, so on until basically everybody gives up. Now, the idea of a superhero pub crawl is about the same. Everybody dresses their favorite superhero, come in and drink. Now, Lenny, Carl, Homer, and Barney dressed as a Fantastic Four. Homer was the Thing, with rocks glued to his face. And Barney was the Human Torch. The reason I'm laughing is there's a moment where Barney does his typical burp, but he lights it on fire with a lighter, and the damn thing goes down his fucking throat. So when the paramedics take him in, he takes the oxygen, and of course, if you know your basic chemistry, the oxygen hits the fire and the damn thing blows. Meanwhile, nobody notices because they're all too drunk to do anything about it. You got Carl being Mr. Fantastic and Lenny being the Invisible Woman. And one of the better jokes of that moment was they're drinking yardsticks, and if you know what a yardstick is, it's one of those really long cups. He goes, "Hey, how come they call this a yardstick?" That's easy, because once you're finished streaking it, you end up throwing up on your yard. I know, simple joke, but I like it. Anyways, like I said, it had the episode had its moments. Granted, I wish it had the superhero theme kind of followed through more, because it was really funny to see all the superheroes in, or at least all the Simpsons characters and people of Springfield dressed as superheroes and such. So it wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't a great episode. I hope that the Lego episode that comes up next week is much better. My expectations are set pretty high for the 550th episode. So here's to you, Simpsons. I still love the show when I do catch it. I won't be doing the marathon if it already passed. I didn't do it, obviously, if it already passed. But, oh well. Here's to the Simpsons. Huzzah! Other than that, looks like that's it. So, till next time. Till see you tomorrow or whenever I see you. Till then, enjoy your brew. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the end of the video. I really appreciate every minute you spend with me. So here's the other thing I need from you. I need you to click the subscribe button. I need you to click on those playlists down there, the Nerd Block, the Morning Brew playlist, of course Late Night Rants, which I know I haven't gotten around too much, but I will, I promise. And of course, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Twitter, hit up geekycastillo.com. I write some great articles and reviews, and I'm constantly trying to interact with you. That's all I'm asking for. A little click, a little tickle, maybe get a pickle.